morning, everyone. My hair's actually, okay. Last time I said my hair was insane, but this actually is insane because I didn't have a hair elastic in my room when I was going to bed. And as before mentioned, I do not like sleeping with my hair on my neck, so I used a claw clip. But I lay on my back a lot, so I couldn't like put the claw clip at the back of my head, and my hair's too short to just pin it up here. This is what I woke up as, so enjoy. I don't even know if this is fixable today. We're gonna be doing something with it, but it's fine. Also, I'm giving a warning, I guess. I'm gonna do a little trigger warning just because I have been motivated to communicate the gap in my videos, because there is a big gap in my videos from when I like tried to force myself. Excuse me, I just woke up. When I tried to force myself to keep doing these video journals, even when like my brain was not gonna let that happen. Because right now I'm showcasing a very healed version of myself. I'm showcasing the side of myself that has learned, matured, grown, developed into a much better version of myself. If you, my family, like my parents, my brother, like his girlfriend, my close friends, like anyone who was like in my life, from I would say April until a couple months ago, maybe I would say maybe April to August. If you were in my life from April to August and you were actually talking to me and I was actually communicating with you how I felt, you know how bad it was. So I'm showcasing this prim and proper version of myself that like, life is great, life is good, I'm learning, I'm growing, I'm doing all of these things. But I never showcased to you how bad it got. And I'm giving a little trigger warning because I don't have anything planned, but I'm sure I'll say something that's triggering to some. So I know it's gonna be sad. I'm not gonna say it in a sad tone. I'm not gonna sit here and cry with you, I can tell you that. But I know things that I say, it's gonna make people who know me feel bad. Because even when I say it, it's like, it's very hard to listen to someone you love hate themselves. It's very hard. And there's nothing you can do about it except for reassure them that you don't agree with them. And that's like the only thing you can really do in that situation. And why I really want to talk about this is because there comes a point of depression, anxiety, mental health issues. Like there comes a point where there isn't really anything that anyone else can fully do for you to make you decide, oh, today's the day. I'm gonna actually like put in the work and heal my shit that needs to be done. Because I can promise you, I would sit there and I would text people and I had no energy to do it. I had no energy to be real because all I would say was, I have no purpose in life. I don't feel smart. I don't feel pretty. I don't feel this. I don't feel that. Like that's all I could say to people. And now that I can take a step back and see what I was saying to people, I feel terrible. The amount of times that I showed up randomly at my mom's work because I just wanted to sit there and cry and tell her, what am I doing with my life? Like I have no passion, no ambition. I just don't care about anything. I'm finding it hard to wake up. I'm finding it hard to clean. I'm finding it hard to cook. I'm losing weight. I'm like coasting through life and just can't seem to figure out how to fix it. And she would try her hardest. We would write notes. We would try to write things down. The amount of people that just told me to get out there, because I was like, what am I supposed to do without dance? What am I supposed to do without it? I don't know who I am without dance. I don't know who I am anymore at all. And I can't even imagine like what my mom and what my friends had to go through, because all they're doing is trying to tell me like, why don't you see yourself properly? But that's the thing. For overthinkers, for people with anxiety, for people with depression, for people who just, they have this part of them that no matter what other people say, they hate themselves. And that's what it was. And now sorry, my alarm went off at the worst time possible. It's fine. I was going to say that I have received the Your Life is Worth Living speech from too many people, too many times. And that's how bad it gets, that people get to a point where I don't say anything about wanting to do that. But it seems so bad the way that I'm talking that reminder seems like it is deemed appropriate to be said. And it probably is. Not anymore. But there's been many times in my life where my brain was flooded with suicidal thoughts and intrusive thoughts. I'll admit that. It's not anymore. But there have been times where things have just gotten too hard, that it gets to a point where your bedroom's a mess, your kitchen's a mess, there's dishes piled up in your sink, your laundry hasn't been done in a month, you're like living in something you hate so much and you cannot fix it because you don't have the energy to fix it. You would love nothing more than for it to be fixed, and you can't fix it. And you don't know why. And so you just live in it and make it worse and worse and worse. And everything gets worse and worse and worse. Until, for me, I would get random bouts of motivation throughout these, and I would just like rampage clean everything. But I also I get like that, and I wouldn't talk to people very much. I would cut a lot of people off. I would give people like the bare minimum because I just didn't have the energy to give them anything more. I went out of my way so many times because at the time I had so much free time. I had 2 part-time jobs. That's all I had. I had so much free time. I lived by myself. I kid you not, I would go to my mom's work half the time and I would sit there and cry and talk about things. And while it was very nice, she listened and tried her damnedest to help me. It was all I could do, but it wasn't helping me to be able to do that. And my friends who I've texted through panic attacks, and friends that I have texted through difficult times and stuff, I feel bad for them too. I'm you have to listen to this version of myself, because the hatred that I held for myself was so strong that I didn't think that I was attractive at all. I'm not saying I'm out here being I'm so gorgeous, but I'm not a 0. That's what it feels like at the time, though. I feel horrible. I feel like a horrible person. I feel like I'm not nice enough. I feel like I don't care. That's the one that kills me the most, because I'm a very nice person who cares about literally strangers. But when I get really depressed like that, I don't have enough energy to care about myself, let alone anyone else. So I'm a super thoughtful person. I love to do little extra things. I love to make people feel special. I love to make people feel heard, seen, comfortable. But when I don't feel like that, I cannot provide anyone with any of that. And it wounds me, because I feel like a terrible friend. I feel like a terrible daughter. And that just adds on to everything I'm already feeling. And I'm I'm just a horrible person. What's the point? Why does anyone want me in their life? And then I make that executive decision. I'm you don't want me in your life. I'm going to pull back. And then they're why did you decide that for me? And I'm I don't know, because that's what my brain told me to do. And I can't even, I'm explaining this to you in the best way I can right now, but it's so hard to explain these feelings when you're not in them. And my mood does this, and it used to do that in month spans. So it would be oh, this half of the year is really happy, and then I would drop really low. And usually it's the summer that would drop really low, and that's what just happened. But when I'm up here, it's hard to remember how freaking bad it was down here. And I'm like, I don't think I'll ever feel like that again. And then I get back down there and I'm like, I don't think I'll ever feel like this again. And then I get back up there. But this time I think is the last time, because this is the first time where I actually know what pulled me out of it. This is the first time where I actually intentionally pulled me out of it and just didn't let myself ride the coaster until I got to the top. Because I knew I just needed to deal with a whole lot of pain, and I needed to understand that I'm not stupid. I'm not smart in the way that most people are smart. I'm terrible at math. I did not do great in school. I passed enough to get a degree, but I am not intelligent as a normal person who I can't go to a lecture and listen to someone talk because I can't absorb any information that way. I cannot take notes while listening to a professor talk and try to read the slides on the board all at the same time. I can't do that. I'm learning nothing in class because there's too much happening. I'm trying to copy down notes. I'm trying to listen. I'm trying to read. I can't. My brain can't do that. I cannot read textbooks. It takes me 30 minutes to read one page of a textbook because I have to reread everything over and over again. I can read a novel in like under 3 hours. I cannot read a textbook. Things with big fancy words, I get overwhelmed. I can't read it. So I don't. I need people to teach me things. I'm a very kinesthetic learner. Visual is second and auditory is non-existent. But I'm not stupid. I'm very intelligent in different ways. So I'm very emotionally intelligent. I'm very self-aware. I'm very like empathetic, understanding, all of that. I'm very good for that stuff. And you can teach me how to do any single job. I'll be able to learn how to do it. But you have to teach me how to do it, and you don't hand me a book. I remember I learned like a specific difference in this because at my first like career job, I had a coworker who was hired with me, and he was the yin to my yang. We were polar opposites, like in almost every facet of life. And he was a very logical person. Numbers, like to read things, needed to like read it all and understand it. And I'm very not. I'm very like, just show me how to do it and I'll do it. But you need to show me and you need to teach me and I need to like do it as I'm learning. And it was very interesting because we would always be like studying together and learning this job because there was like 2-month training. And he would read, we had to learn a bunch of different like vision therapy activities. So he would read every sheet with all of the instructions on it of how to do it. And then we had little sessions with like senior therapists and they would show us and teach us that. And I would get him, so I could show him things that he didn't pick up on from what they were demonstrating. And he would teach me everything that he read pretty much. And we just kind of passed it off like that. And I could physically teach him how to do something and show him. And he could verbally tell me and show me because he read. And it was always like that. And it was perfect because even we split patients. I got a lot of kids and I got a lot of patients with anxiety because I was very patient, empathetic, understanding, creative, good with kids. He got all of the very logical people that needed the numbers, wanted to like see the progression, wanted to know exactly what was happening and how it was happening. So we got very different demographics, which is very helpful because there are all these different demographics. I'm not going to be able to handle the logical people as well as he would, and he's not going to be able to handle the children or the people with anxiety as well as I would. That's just how it works because we were very different. I turned this into a completely different topic, but still all in all to say, I don't think there's been a day in my life where I don't feel stupid and say that I'm dumb. Why do I feel dumb? Because I'm not smart in the normal way. I'm not smart in school. People think I'm good at writing. The highest mark I got in high school in English was a 78. A 78. And people think I'm good at writing. I have no idea what I'm doing. I write what feels good. Do I know what a sentence fragment is? Absolutely not. Do I know what a splice is? I think that's a term. No, I don't. Okay? I know how to use a semicolon. That's my one flex. But I don't know the actual like grammatical notations that go with putting sentences together. I'm just like, that sounds good. So I can write, but it would need to be hella edited, or it needs to be something where they don't care that there's grammatical errors, because who really cares that much? I mean, if it's very blatant, then obviously I would care, like whatever. There's books that are sold with typos. I pick up on those real quick, where they put the wrong word or they misspelled it or whatever, you know? So who cares if I comma splice? That's the term, I think. I don't actually know what that means, but that's the term. So it's interesting because that's a big one for me, is that I've just never felt smart. And I don't think I ever will feel smart, and that's okay, because I'm just not smart in that way. But that's something that eats at my ego a lot. So I didn't feel attractive. I didn't feel smart. The big one for me this time around, and the one that I think was eating others that had to listen to me talk about alive, was the fact that I felt like I had no passion for anything. And you know what's crazy is Morgan met me while I was like just starting to recover from the pain that I was in. She met me, I think, actually in the beginning of June, I think. I think it was just the beginning of June. Saving grace that young lady is. Anyway, I'm not gonna start fangirling over her. She's epic though, I won't lie. She's gonna love this, shut up. Anyway, but she met me when I wasn't at my lowest, but I was still pretty freaking low. And I was very upfront about that. And like, she only got a glimpse. I hate my birthday because I've been depressed for my birthday the last 3 years. I just cry like the 5 days before my birthday and on my birthday. I have not missed crying on my birthday. I have cried on my birthday, I think, for the last 3 years. But I was at a very low point in my life, and I remember she asked, I was at my old job, and she asked, what do you want to do for your birthday? Like, let's celebrate. And I cried at work because I had no idea. And I'm like, I don't know how to plan things. I don't know what I'm doing. I don't know what's fun. I don't feel like anything's fun. I don't feel like, well, I didn't communicate all of that information with her. I was just telling her, I was like, stress. I was like, plan me something. We were fresh friends. Remember, we met at the beginning of June. We went out at the end of June. That's when my birthday is. Saving grace. We went out. It was great. It was so fun. I was still in my head the whole time, but it was fun. And honestly, just started going up from there, which was amazing. And I started feeling passionate about things again. And I got into volleyball. So I took 8 years off volleyball. And I got back into it, and I have zero regrets. I look forward to volleyball every Tuesday. I love my team. Like my team, we have a team of 6, but we also have like 2 or 3 subs that are just kind of like in there. And then we have a group chat from like an old team. Anyway, I just love everyone. It's great. It's so fun. No regrets on volleyball. Getting into the gym, no regrets on that. A lot of these gave me something to push forward for, and now I am very passionate about them. I like to go to the gym. I love to play volleyball. I love to go see my friends. I love to go do things. Last week was Halloween? 2 weeks? I don't know, whatever, Halloween. I've never decorated really for Halloween. I've never thrown a Halloween party. I have never done any of that. I hadn't dressed up besides a cow in like 7 years. And my costume was epic. It was great. It was so fun. You know what? I was even stressed about it because I really thought that I would just like change downstairs into the next character, come back up, and no one would say anything. Nah, every time it was hype. It was great. I loved it. But I don't know what specifically triggered me to just understand so much. But I know I did that shit myself. I got back into therapy when I started therapy with her again. When did I finally? That's what everyone would tell me too. So I had 2 things. They were like, just try things if you feel like you have no passion and you don't know what you like in life. That's the number 1 advice that I would get from anyone that I was telling people that I was passionless. And the second piece was, are you sure you shouldn't get back into therapy? And I'd be like, no, I'm doing it myself. Yeah, I didn't do it myself. I got back into therapy, which helped. But for her, it's a roller coaster ride too, because she's gonna like start the Zoom call and she doesn't know who she's seeing that day, which personality of mine she's seeing. But I started at a very low place, and last week I like left on such a high. Like hearing her say, so what has been a challenge, was like, because I sat back, I did tell her things. So just to clarify, I did tell her things that should have made me sad. I did tell her about like situations that were not good, but I told her about it from a very different lens. Instead of being like I'm giving you a random example. I'm not telling you what I told her, but I'm giving you a random example. Say you're in a relationship. We all know I haven't been in a relationship for like 10 months. So say you're in a relationship and then there was a breakup and you hate yourself, you blame yourself, you're like, rah, 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 all of this. So say I told her about that. Instead of saying all of that, I said, you know what? I just don't think I fit into their life that they want to live right now. And that's not on me. They're just not ready to be at the same level that I'm ready to be at. And that's how I would explain it to her. And she was like, oh my gosh, I'm so proud of you for figuring out that you're not the problem in this kind of situation. Like it's not, don't turn around and do what you normally do, which is go, oh, they probably left me because I'm ugly, because I'm not smart, because I'm not nice, because I don't care enough, because I don't have any passions, because I'm, you know what I mean? So I did tell her sad things. But when she asked, so what's been challenging? That was like the flip that made me realize, oh my gosh, I learned how to handle sad situations in the moment and not let it fester and build and build and build and build. Do I still struggle to clean my room all the time? Yes, but I do it at least once a week, which is a saving grace, because I used to do my laundry like once a month maybe, and there would be clothes everywhere. You couldn't see carpet in my room half the time growing up. Like my mom would open the door and there would be clothes everywhere. And some of them clean, some of them dirty. She's like, how do you know what's what? And I'm like, I just do. It's organized in my brain. It's just a mess in here. And I used to, when I was younger, have like glasses and stuff in my room. I have a really big pet peeve, and I have a rule now as an adult. I hate it. I'm very triggered by having like coffee mugs. When I wake up in the morning and I forgot there was a coffee mug in my room, I'm like wounded and I have to remove it immediately. I hate food being in my room. The clothes can get messy, but no food. That's disgusting. I don't want ants. I don't want mice, especially because my clothes are everywhere and they're just gonna like nest. They're gonna nest in my clothes, and then disgusting. No, thank you. So I have learned, and it's also quite nice because when I go on like a lull of not having the energy, I also have 2 roommates and we share a kitchen. I haven't really been using the kitchen this week because my week was all thrown off and I haven't meal prepped or anything. But we also have a dishwasher, saving grace. I didn't have a dishwasher at my old place, and so when it got real bad, so many dishes in my sink, no motivation to clean them all, and that was disgusting. It would wound my soul. I remember I have videos. It was like, say you're depressed without saying you're depressed. And I walked around my apartment, shit everywhere. Dishes were full in the sink. They were disgusting. There was dishes on the counter too. There was like things everywhere, clothes everywhere. My bed wasn't made. Like my whole house was not cute. But that's what happens. And then I just need the motivation. Now it's amazing too, because another thing that Morgan is a saving grace for is whenever that happens to one of us, the other one just goes there and either helps or just sits there and we fix it. And it's amazing, because sometimes I just need a little moral support. So I didn't let myself get too sad, which is kind of good. So anyway, that's all. So have a wonderful week. And you know what? Just keep going. Cheesy, but just do it. Keep going. If you're going through hell, keep going.